moment. So we're here today, how YouTube helps you build authority and helps you convert the viewers into leads and then also clients. So you're probably wondering, okay, so how is this different than social media, what I'm doing already on LinkedIn and Facebook? So that's what we're going to talk about here today. Can you guys see my screen? I am going to do this drop down. It looks like you can. I'm going to check the comments real quick because thank you so much for sharing information. Coldwater, Janet and I aren't too far away from each other to gather more information to help my new channel and work for me. I'm so excited for you, Janet, too. She just recently started her YouTube channel and she's already killing it. She's got 10 videos already created and ready to publish. She's already publishing some. And I live south of Birmingham in England. Yay! We got somebody from over the pond here with us too. Good to meet everyone. Thanks for being here. Anne, 5 p.m. So just got back from a walk. Nice. I'm going to be taking a walk with the dog here after this too. And it's actually chilly here too. So I'll be bundling up. John, love to learn how to use YouTube as I don't know how to create community on that platform. I'm North Carolina. Nice. Thanks for being here again. And then Carrie, Detroit, looking to learn about YouTube. Nice. Awesome. Great. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump in. I think everything that you guys are expecting, you're going to get delivered between today and tomorrow. So I'm excited to share this with you. Let's go ahead and dive in. So why YouTube is actually the ultimate lead conversion tool. I don't know if you guys can see this. Like I said, I'm usually on a bigger screen. I've got this drop down screen showing here. There we go. Hopefully you couldn't see that. And let's go back. So what we're going to do today is understand why social media alone won't get you the premium clients that you're looking for. So hopefully you're looking for more clients that are higher ticket and not necessarily just like the lower ticket, clients. If you are, that's fine. You can still find those clients on YouTube as well. But YouTube, because it is a premium platform, that's where you can find more of those people who are actively searching for those products and solutions to purchase from people like yourself. We're also going to look at how YouTube changes the game by building authority and generating leads 24/7. I've talked about this on different videos. I've probably mentioned it in my social media posts on both Facebook and LinkedIn that I've got videos to this date that I created back in 2021, 2023, where I'm still getting views. I'm still getting comments, people asking questions, and then I'm still getting leads from them. So it's the power behind YouTube and the reason why people are going to YouTube that we're going to talk about today and how that differs from social media. And I do want to emphasize, I've talked about this on my post as well, is that I'm not talking about replacing what you're doing on social media. I just want to make that clear because you're on social media for a reason, right? It's working for you. You're building your community. You're engaging with people. I've engaged with each one of you on each of the platforms. And it's a great way to build community and also help you get to know, like, and trust the people that you might ideally want to work with. And then by the end of the 2 days, walking away with a clear vision of your YouTube lead strategy. So today, a lot of it's going to be like creating the foundation. And then tomorrow, it's going to be giving you those tools that you can start to put into motion. I'm going to give you some of those today too, but tomorrow is going to be like a really full of implementation type day. Okay, but first let's talk about YouTube just to kind of show the overall landscape of what YouTube is like. So 90% of the 2.5 billion daily YouTube users discover new brands and products. So that's a really important piece of like why YouTube is such an important part of what we do on a day-to-day basis as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner. How we're trying to find clients and connect with them and convert them and help them ultimately, right? And then build those communities. So with 70% of small and medium-sized businesses using it for marketing and customer reach, it's just a great way to reach a net new audience. If you're only on Facebook, if you're only on LinkedIn, or only on the social media platforms, this is a completely net new way to find people who are actively searching for new brands, new solutions, finding out more information. And I'm going to show you an example when I was pulling it up, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like pulling it all together. And as I'm walking you through an example, it's going to click as to why and how these two work so completely different. And then also looking at people actually spend an average of 48.7 minutes a day consuming video content. Why that's important to you is that one of the things that I talk about and I help my clients like create is the lead conversion system. And it's a system that's built of multiple videos that are in various touch points, various topics. But the ultimate goal there is to provide a place where your ideal clients can go and binge watch your video content. And in doing so, that's going to, validate, or it's going to help contribute to those 48.7 minutes a day that people are doing on YouTube in order to consume information. And this is across all boards. So, some of that's B2C, B2B, but I'll give you some examples here too on that. And if you have questions as I'm going through, I can see the chat. So if new questions or if new things come up in the chat, I'll be able to see those. So when we're looking at just the 90% of 2.5 billion daily users, that's a massive reach that you can tap into to build and establish yourself as an authority, right? So we're talking about how you can leverage YouTube, not just to help create conversions and find net new clients, but really how can we use it to leverage you and get you on a platform where it's going to get you not just more visibility, but more authority. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the difference between those two as well. And then if we look at the new products, like I mentioned, it also allows you to be more diverse. So I had a question on one of my videos where a gentleman was asking, I think he was doubting like whether or not his niche was valid on YouTube or not, which is completely legitimate, right? Because you're just like, I don't know if it's going to be available in there. Now, he could have just done a simple search, right? Because that's all I did. But it was Catholic something. And I'm like, I don't know if it's on there. We'll say it was like Catholic logistics. I mean, it was something interesting where I was just like, I've never heard of this before. So he was doubting like whether or not there was space for him on YouTube and whether or not people are already searching for what he does. So all I did was I went out to YouTube and I did I always do long tail searches because I want to get as specific as possible and help me get to the information as quickly as possible as well. So I didn't just type in the two words that he gave me, but I, created some context behind it. And sure enough, there was plenty of information out there about whatever that niche was that he was focused on. So let me know in the comments too, which I know some of you, like what area you're focusing in on. And for some reason, Janet, yours is like the first one that came to mind because I think yours is like unique, probably based on those of us in this group. But Janet's traumatic brain injury. So she's helping those patients or those people who are recovering from a traumatic brain injury. So when you think of that, if you're typically spending time on Facebook and LinkedIn, if you're not like actively connected to people in that community, you may not think that there are individuals on YouTube who are providing that type of information. But, it could be those individuals, it could be family members, people who are really wanting to understand like what it is. And I'm assuming Janet can speak for this herself, but I'm assuming there's all different kinds of types of traumatic brain injuries or TBIs. So it's just looking at that and how you can leverage YouTube to really tap into like what your niche is. And when you look at what you're doing on Facebook and LinkedIn, you're almost like creating that space for yourself, right? And then you're just hoping that your content's going to show up in the feed based on the time that you're posting, the consistency that you're posting, your connections, who engages with your posts, who you've been DMing. So you're that critical piece for getting your content seen on social media. YouTube is all about putting your information out there, and then people are going to search for you. They're going to search for your information. And it's a huge difference, not only from a time perspective, but also from a perspective of the value and how you can provide them with the information that they're searching for earlier instead of trying to search for it on like LinkedIn or Facebook. The 70% of those businesses who are using it for marketing and customer reach, the effectiveness for building the credibility and trust is there, right? So people are already there and they're looking for that. And then, like I mentioned before, the binge-worthy content gets seen. So it's just really solidifying that YouTube's position as a key authority building platform through all of these reasons. Okay. I'm not going to read through all of this, but I think most of you are familiar with me. You've either attended an event, we've gone on a road trip together, Janet. We've worked together, we've had conversations, we support each other in, our content and, just on both platforms. So that's there if you want to go back and read it, but it's just a little bit about me. If you have not purchased or upgraded to the VIP, this is something that is, as I was going through it, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm giving you everything. Like $27 gives you everything. And if you've bought it and you haven't taken a look at it yet, you can just look at the descriptions here. So I'm giving you 50 video title formulas. So essentially you've got, if you were posting a video every day for YouTube, then you're going to have essentially one video. If you follow those formulas, then you're going to have what you need for the entire year. And then I'm giving you video scripts where it's plug and play. I give you the script and all you have to do is put your information in there. You got the scripts, you've got the titles, you've got the scripts. And then I created this video. It's a little bit longer than 10 minutes. And I'm walking you through how you can use and incorporate CTAs into your videos, different types. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got titles, you've got templates, and you've got CTAs. $27. I was like, all right, well, I've already put it out there, so I have to keep it. But I would love to know your thoughts on that if you have purchased it and had a chance to look at it. Yesterday in Facebook groups, I said, this is Janet. Yesterday in Facebook groups, I said for a free resource, go to YouTube and put my channel name. Love it. That's awesome because while they're out there too, Janet, hopefully this was part of that purpose, was not just to go there to get the resource, but to go there and get more information as well, right? So maybe it was educating people on something that you were talking about in your post. And you can actually have your YouTube videos as a free resource in your events. And it can be a public video. I've done that before too with like video editing. So I'll refer to, and most people, they're not watching the CapCut videos so much anymore, I think because of the whole TikTok thing, because CapCut got taken down as well since they're owned by the same company. So views have gone significantly down on that, which is fine because I think that was one of my videos that was created in 2000, it was either 2022 or 2023. But I was still getting a lot of views, a lot of leads on that. But anyway, so I've used videos like that in other trainings and said, hey, if you want to learn how to edit your own videos, then I would send them the link to the CapCut training because that was a really in-depth video that, a lot of people really enjoyed. I think it might even have 100% likes. So no dislikes. I think it's just 100%, which is, it's good. It's unusual with that much activity on it. So if you don't have that, go ahead and do that. You can scan the QR code if you haven't already. It'll take you to that page. So this is something that I came up with, and it's the business growth tier system. And so this is how I see the different platforms and just where they kind of fit in. So on the bottom, you've got social media, right? So that is your getting started. If somebody's just getting started with starting their business, they're getting used to like connecting with people, creating communities. Social media is like the basic platform of doing that, right? So it's very competitive though, and it's also very crowded. And it's because it's the starting point, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, whatever it is, this is the place to start. And that's where you can actually connect with a lot of people, learn what other people are posting about, get ideas, really find collaborators, join Facebook groups, and that sort of thing. It's easy, it's free to post, and it's algorithm controlled. So like I was mentioning earlier, if you're creating a post on either LinkedIn or Facebook, you're creating that and you're pushing it out, right? So in order to keep your brand, what you do in front of people, you have to keep posting, right? Because you're pushing it out there, but then the algorithm's controlling it. and saying, okay, well, if you're going to keep posting and pushing content out, then we'll keep sending it out and putting it in the feed, right? So you have to keep cranking it out, which is fine. And again, that's why I'm putting it at the base, because this is where everybody starts. The only problem is this is where everybody, for the most part, stays, except for you guys, because you're here today and you're interested in going higher. So the next level up, the people who want to take what they're doing with their business, with their personal brand, with building communities, is that they want to take it to the next level. They want the information that they're creating. And at a deeper level, they want it to be search driven, which means that they want to put their content out there for others to find when they need it. Okay. So it's searchable. It also helps with your growth and your authority. I'm going to check chat roll here. Looks like a ton of content for 27 bucks. I know it is, John. I just purchased it and we'll be looking at it later tonight. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much for supporting me. Yeah, it's a lot. I'll be anxious to hear your thoughts on that, John. I'm like, man, it should have been a lot more. Let's just put it that way. I established the price and then put it together. And I'm like, man, I love giving stuff away. Anybody who knows that about me, though, I'm just like, go ahead. Like, I love giving stuff. So hopefully it's helpful. And it gives you a lot of ideas and ways to take action with creating the videos for YouTube. Okay, so another part of this on the search-driven level, it's not as easy. So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people won't take that next step, right? So it's not, you can just type out a post and send an image and you're good to go. It's still free. And then it's search controlled. So we're talking about like YouTube. You can also put TikTok and Pinterest in there because those are search engines as well. But to keep it simplified and focused on what we're talking about here today, I'm keeping YouTube, but then also podcasts and books. These are the three things that are going to help you build your authority and your credibility. They're also going to create opportunities for you to expand your brand and the potential to connect with more ideal clients in a new and different way. So one of the like business mentors, and Janet's familiar with this name, Shamina Taylor. She's the wealth consciousness coach, and she's got all kinds of different programs. But one of the things that she had mentioned, I think it was in one of her challenges, or I was connected somewhere, and at some point she had mentioned this. She's like, people who are going to come into her high ticket programs she's going to start requiring people to have a YouTube channel, to have a podcast, and to have their own solo book. So the reason being is because she wants to work with high achieving women who are standing in their power. They're genuinely interested in growing their brand, helping more people, and they want to do it in a way that's not like everybody else, right? So when you're on YouTube, you're creating your own niche. When you're creating your podcast, it's your voice and you're getting it out in a completely different way that someone still hasn't figured out how to have it be like a search engine. It still seems to be like its own kind of unique animal. And then a book, that obviously takes some time and effort and money and everything else to get it published. But what I want you to do is think about this. If you've done, I know, let me know in the comments or in the chat, like which one of these three, if you have all three, let me know that too. But which one of these do you have today? Do you have your own YouTube channel? Do you have your own podcast? And do you have your own book, solo book? I know some of us, including myself, have done co-authoring books or collaborations and had our names in one book. But how many of you have your own solo book? So for me, I've got my own YouTube channel, my own podcast. I'm working on my book. So go ahead and put that in the chat. And what I want you to do is think about something. I purchased it also. I thought it was $2,700. It may not be worth that much, but it's definitely worth more than $27. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And I get back with you once I get it checked out. Awesome. Thank you. John, have YouTube, podcast, and only co-authored book. So we're very similar in that way too, John. Carrie, I have none. You're on your way to a YouTube channel, Carrie. I know it. I have an ebook. Anne says, I have an ebook. Okay, awesome. Good. So here's what I want you guys to think about. When someone says, you know, if you're just like, where do you spend your time? And you're like, I'm on Facebook. You know, what's the reaction? Whatever. Everybody's there, right? I'm on LinkedIn. Nobody cares. When they're just like, I have a YouTube channel, the interest goes up a little bit like, oh, really? Because it's seen as something new and different. If you say, I've got my own podcast, it's like, oh, hey, that's really cool. And if you've got your own book, it's just like, hey, it's on Amazon. It could be a #1 international bestseller. There's all these different things. So when you think of like the perception that people have in their minds of, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, the search driven tier, it's much higher. The perception, the value, the authority, the growth opportunities, all of those have a much higher perception and value than social media. So, and that's not me, right? So I want you to think about it from your perspective and your experiences with other people too, that when somebody's just like, I have my own book, like it puts them up on a higher pedestal, right? Because you're just like, wow, they wrote their own book. And it's really impressive when people can do that because it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes, really being like managing your time really well, right? Planning it out and doing all those things. So YouTube is the same way. It's not something where you can just start an account and just like post something. I mean, you can, but you actually have to spend time to create the video. And so those are the reasons why I think a lot of people don't get started. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because if other people aren't get started and you are, that automatically puts you in a higher level. And it also takes you out of like, this really competitive and crowded space and puts you in an arena where people are looking for what you already offer. They're already searching on YouTube. The problem is that if you're not there, other people are being found and they're the ones who your ideal clients are actually looking at and learning from and buying from, right? So it's something to think about. And again, this is my whole thing here. So if you have other thoughts on this, I would love to know. And then the paid, I did paid advertising one time. And it was more or less because honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, let's give this a shot. And this was back in, let's say it was 2000. It was either 2017 or 2018. I know it was when I was still living in my house. My youngest daughter was in high school. So it was a while ago. And it was when I first started focusing on my business 100%. So it was around there. So I did it once and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And now after so much time, I know that paid advertising is something that you do when you have your organic marketing working for you, right? You've honed in on your messaging and your ideal clients and you're getting the engagement and it's at a spot where you can take one of your posts and not that you need to do this, but you could take one of your posts that's performed really well and you could use that as part of your paid program, right? So that's when you're ready to scale. Okay. And the Shamina that I mentioned earlier, that's something that I saw her doing recently too. And she was ready for it. The thing with paid advertising, apart from paying to play, is that it does take time, right? So I know that when I spoke with someone about 2 years ago, when I was offering my low ticket offer, part of her program was you needed to spend, and this was on Facebook, you needed to spend $100 a day for 2 weeks. So that would be $1,000 essentially. Once you've spent $1,000 in paid advertising and you looked at your data and your results, then you would be able to determine what's working, what's not working. So with that, it's like you're already $1,000 in and you're not even sure what you're going to be doing yet. So you could be able, obviously you're getting results during that time too, but it takes time, it takes practice, it takes money. So you're basically paying to post. You control it to a certain extent, right? So you have the options for your paid advertising. But the problem with that is that once you stop paying, then you stop getting exposure. So it's almost like you get elevated above everybody else. But then as soon as you stop, you're just like, you're back down at the bottom. So when you're looking at these, it's all about what's going to work best for you. Okay. And so really what I'm focusing on here, I'm not doing anything with paid because like I said, I don't have any experience except for that one thing on paid. But what I'm focused on is helping combine the search driven and the social media because there's a lot of power in having those two combined, right? So that's what we're going to be doing here. So, when it comes to social media alone, it's not enough. And I have done everything that, is needed for that. I've done the posting, I've done the commenting, I've done the building relationships, I've done collaborations, I've been in Facebook groups, I've had my own Facebook group. And while it all worked to some degree, I was constantly feeling like I was on the content hamster wheel. In fact, last year at this time, I was getting to other things were playing into this, but I actually took Q2 last year off completely because the thought of posting content was just like, I felt like I just couldn't do it anymore because I felt like I was on that content hamster wheel. And I was just like, I need to get off the content hamster wheel and do something different. So was it necessary to take that much time off? No, not if you're just trying to figure out your content situation. But for me, it was just like a huge sigh of relief. I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't feel like I have to do this all the time. And then of course, obviously I got back on there, but it was just something that, tell me, what do you guys think? I know some people love being on social media, right? And don't get me wrong, I like posting and engaging with people, but I also know that if you're a Facebook coach or if you're a LinkedIn coach, like you're on those platforms like pretty much all day long because that's what you do. But for those of us who aren't, that's not something that I want to be doing all day long. I don't want to even be on YouTube all day long. Like I've got a business to run. We all have businesses to run, right? Do you guys like being on social media? Let me know. And then what is it about it that you like? I want to guess John's community. Let me know in the comments or in the chat. I should say, I always say comments. I guess because I'm used to saying that on YouTube. But when I started using YouTube strategically, I realized that, my content didn't have to expire, right? It could work for me forever. And like the examples I was just giving you with my videos from, a while back, that's what I'm talking about. Those videos are going to continue to live on. When I've done demos or using examples on YouTube, and I'm showing people how to find titles in their niche that are working right now. When I do that initial search, I see videos from 7 years ago, 11 years ago. Are they the greatest thumbnails and titles? No, but you know what? They're popping up in search. You're not going to find that on Facebook and LinkedIn, right? So it's just a completely different thing that we all just need to keep top of mind that, it's something that needs to be considered. Janet said, just YouTube podcasts and the thoughts and book and computer. I want to get it up. Nice. Awesome. We're in the same place, Janet. And I had a bad experience a year ago on Facebook and won't go there now unless I have to. Oh, I get that, Anne. There can be some situations and people that are definitely not ideal. So I hear you on that. Jana, I like connecting with my avatar, but it feels so limited and confining. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, Janet. Yeah, I would agree with that. It does. John, I usually only post once a week on LinkedIn because I don't have time to create more than that. Your videos are so awesome. If you guys aren't connected to John on LinkedIn, go check out his profile. He is so funny. He has a video that he creates every week. In fact, him and his team just won an award for these videos. So they're awesome because I don't have time to create more than that. I have fun with the familia we have built, and it generates leads for us and has created many additional opportunities, but I want to expand it now to other platforms so we are more diverse. Yeah, love that. And what you're doing too, John, is going to be even the videos that you've already created, they can be used on YouTube if you're not already doing that. And I post to LinkedIn once or twice a week, was originally from paid work role, carried on in my own business. Okay, awesome. Paid work role. Okay. Carrie, I feel like social media is a noisy, exhausting hamster wheel. Yeah, I'm working to figure it out. Yeah, it can be. It most certainly can be. And it can just feel exhausting, right? Because you're just constantly doing the same thing over and over again. And as I'm saying it, I'm like, that's the different definition of insanity. I know it's not. I mean, it is the definition of insanity, but there are results that come from that, right? So hopefully we're all getting at least connections. We're having conversations in the DMs. We're supporting each other on the posts that we're all creating, and hopefully we're helping people so they're converting and becoming clients so that we can take that relationship to the next level. Because that's what we're doing it for, right? I mean, none of us are on there, hopefully, for a hobby and just because we've got extra time to kill. Nothing changes if nothing changes, but consistency is, yes, absolutely, Janet. You are absolutely correct. We are in control of the change, right? It's a mindset shift sometimes, but if we don't embrace change, I'm one who does. Like, I like change. If I'm doing the consistent thing like all the time, like I get bored very easily. So I'm all about like, how can I do this differently? And just to be completely transparent, that's one of the reasons why I didn't work out in my corporate roles for very long, because I would learn my role and I'm like, what else can I do? Let's do this. Let's try this. And so I would start, finding out different ways to make things work. And people don't like that, especially in like your leaders. They don't like that because they feel like you're impeding on their responsibilities and like you're going to take over what they're doing. And I was just like, I'm just bored. I want to be doing more. So what I'm doing now is like, it's a great fit for me. Like I get to change things up constantly and I love it. Anne says, it infuriates me that the content is lost. Yes. When I realize YouTube keeps it up there forever. I just got the chills. I am all on starting my channel. I love that. It is infuriating, right? And it's hard to get people to understand that because I think they're so used to that consistency, like doing the same thing over and over again. And if it's working, that's great. That's what I want people to just keep doing, whatever's working for them. What I want them to do is also be open to the opportunities and the possibilities that are available to them. That's what I'm just like, let's open our eyes. Let's see what else is available. Because what we're doing right now is not the only thing. There are still new apps that are coming out, not on a daily basis, but like the latest one. So Lemon 8, I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. That's the one that just started popping up when everybody heard that TikTok was going to go down. I think it's a US owned one. There's another one that's going to be coming out. I joined the wait list just more out of curiosity. Whatnot, which Gary Vaynerchuk's been talking about. It's a live shopping. It's kind of like a personalized QVC experience. You need physical products, so it's not one I'm really going to be too much invested in. I just attended once because I was curious what it was like. But there's always things to consider. And so if we're stuck in our silos, and none of you are because you're here today, then this is where you're going to have the upper hand. This is where you're going to have the advantage. You're going to get the head start because you're already saying, hey, I see that there's these opportunities. Now let's tap into it. Let's see how we can make this work, right? I love it. Okay, so here's how I can help you collapse time. I've talked about this recently too, is that I've made all the mistakes. Okay, so first, I'm an example of do as I say, not as I do. I know that sounds backwards, but here's the thing. I've made the mistakes on YouTube. An example, deleting a video from your YouTube channel. Do not ever do that. Just telling you right now, don't question it. Just don't do it. Mark it private. It'll be fine. It'll still be on your channel. Nobody will see it. If it bothers you seeing it there, which is why I deleted them from mine, it's just something you have to get past. But do not ever delete your videos on your YouTube channel. So I've done those things. And I don't want you to do those things because I want your channel to grow fast. I want you to get the clients. I want you to increase your authority. I want you to have all those things. So by listening to me and my experiences, what to avoid, then you're not going to do those things, right? So it's instead of just saying, hey, do what I do. I don't want you to do what I did. I don't want you to delete the videos. I don't want you to unlist your most popular video that's like skyrocketing in views and engagement and then hide it. Don't do these things. So, I've spent years, like my very first video on YouTube was in 2011. Now, granted, I haven't obviously been creating videos since then, but I know how to do YouTube. Like I love YouTube. I love figuring things out. I love helping people figure things out, and really leveraging YouTube as a lead generating machine because there's so much potential there. So much. For the reason that Anne mentioned too, is that you're not going to get infuriated by the fact that your videos just die. right? So your videos, they could actually not perform. And I saw an influencer. I don't want to say influencer. There was someone recently that had a really big channel. I think he had like, let's say he's like maybe 65,000, somewhere around there. I don't know. He's got a lot of subscribers. And so he was showing one of his video performance charts, and it didn't get hardly any performance at the very beginning. In his videos, because they show up in my feed, like they're always taking off, like as soon as he publishes videos. And so he was showing this as an example of even people who have high performing videos out of the gate, that there are sometimes ones that just don't take off as fast. But if you wait it out, then they will later. So that video I mentioned that I don't want to say unpublished, I enlisted it. It was my tutorial on HubSpot, the free version of HubSpot. At the time, I was focused on helping marketing and sales teams align, like in mid-sized companies, because that was my background in corporate. And so in doing so, I wanted to help them embrace something. So I did a really detailed, like a 45-minute video, gave them like a checklist, all of these things. And that video didn't take off right away. And it was one that I was just like, whatever. And it was right before I was leaving on vacation. And so it was like while I was on vacation, towards the end of it, like I just started to get views. And then all of a sudden it just took off. So there's no rhyme or reason why things do. So when I post videos and they don't perform at first, I'm like, that's all right. It might take off later. If not, then I'll revisit it. I'll see, what was the title? I'll do the research and see what were the views, who was watching it. Like, what can I do better, better next time? And just improve it that way. So that's how you can leverage YouTube to generate leads. You do not have to have 100,000 subscribers. You don't have to have 50 subscribers. There was a video I saw recently. There was somebody else. It was like a podcast episode. She was interviewing somebody who had a YouTube channel. He still does, but she wanted to know like how he generated, I think it was like $150,000 in a day. It was something crazy high. And him and his wife do marriage counseling. And so he created a video, and I don't remember all of the details, but he was talking about how he had like maybe 50 subscribers. I mean, it was like super low. Posted this one video and didn't know what to expect, but because he was strategic about how he placed, all of the components together, he was following somebody's formula. And so because he did it that way, he generated enough leads to make this like $150,000 a day. It was crazy high. And so when you look at it from that perspective, I love using that as an example because he didn't have a huge audience. He didn't have a lot of engagement, but he was intentional about the video that he was creating and who he was creating it for, right? And then he did the things that he was supposed to do that I talk about in all my videos, how to create your videos, and just, get started like you guys are right now. And then, those of you who haven't, Carrie and Ann, you guys had mentioned that you aren't yet, but you're getting ready to, definitely look at that. You don't need fancy equipment. I still use my phone. I use the rear facing camera because it's a higher quality. So I just do test shots at first to make sure that, like my head's not getting cut off, I'm centered in the frame, but you need this. Right now I'm using a window because I'm not at home. So normally at home I would have a box light, but you could use a ring light. But like the lighting here is really good, right? I don't need anything. If you've got a window, so I talk about this all the time, you don't need any equipment. I don't have it in here. I do for my videos, so because I'm farther away from my phone, I do have a Bluetooth microphone, but right now I'm using my laptop and you guys can hear me fine. And the same thing is true if I was using my phone, if I just set it up, this way, as long as it's not too far away from me, then you don't need a microphone either. But if you do need a microphone, they're not that expensive. They're like maybe $40 on Amazon. So the thing at that point then is you've got the equipment, you just need to have the framework in order to make it happen, which is what made that one guy that I was just talking about, his video so successful. So, and here's how you can do it is just, offering a unique combination of YouTube, how it becomes your secret weapon, I should say, not here's how you do the videos. But it's because it's a unique combination of high reach right? We talked about the billions of people who are like going on to YouTube every single day. High reach, engaging video formats of all type. You've got the horizontal videos, which are like the traditional ones. You've got the verticals or YouTube shorts. You've got live streaming. And then you have to have 50 subscribers to live stream on YouTube, just as an FYI. Then you've got your community posts, which you get access to that once you have 500 subscribers. But you've got different ways that you can engage on YouTube with your communities. And each one of those, well, there's all kinds of different algorithms, but let's just use those for as an example. They each have different algorithms. So they're not competing for one another. If you're creating your community posts, which are really cool, you can use polls, you can do image polls or text polls. You can share your videos. You can just do, a traditional text with an image, whatever that is. That algorithm's different than the algorithm that's pushing like the traditional videos out. That's different than the YouTube Shorts algorithm. So that's one of the biggest benefits too, is that if you're like, I don't want to do like the long form videos because maybe you just want to do short form and it's quick and easy and you can get them out there quicker. Just know that you're not going to be competing for time and space of people who are creating the horizontal videos. So it's just another benefit. So all of those can actually influence the purchasing decision, right? So when we look at visibility, right? So visibility versus authority, visibility can be built on social media. Authority is built on the search generated platforms. So social media visibility, short-term attention, like we were talking about, it's frustrating and you feel like you're on the content hamster wheel. And the thing is that your posts for the most part, they disappear after 24 or 48 hours. That's it. Now I have seen posts on both LinkedIn and Facebook from like a week ago, right? But it's not common. And then you're also competing in a crowded space for engagement, right? Because we're all taught the same thing, post consistently, post often. On LinkedIn, it's like, engage on posts before you post, then engage some more. I don't think it's the same thing on Facebook, but it could be. But just doing the things, right? So it's time consuming. You don't have to do any of that stuff on YouTube. You can, if you want to get like additional exposure from, somebody who's got it in your same space, who has a similar audience. You could leave a comment, you could, reply to somebody else's comment, but it's not a requirement for getting your post pushed out more or more frequently. You guys are going to hate me for saying this, is that social media, I feel like it's a game. Like who can play the game better and who can play it by the rules and work the system. For me, that's just not for me. I'm like, I'm not a game player. Like I just want to put it out there and move on with my day. Like I got other things to do. So none of you guys are Facebook or LinkedIn like mentors or coaches. So I probably didn't ruffle feathers with that one, but visibility also doesn't always mean leads. So even though you're getting your posts out in front of people, it doesn't mean that people are going to see you as an authority and want to work with you. YouTube, on the other hand, is an authority platform. So it's the long-term credibility. It creates opportunities for converting views into leads. And then those leads are going to be higher or farther along in the purchasing process. So they're going to be more likely to convert to a sale. Okay. Plus it's searchable on not just YouTube, but Google. So when you post one video, you're getting searched on the number one, number two platforms, right? So that's like, you're getting double the exposure. And that in itself would inspire me to get started. Cause I'm like, you mean I post a video? And I'll show you an example here of this too. Not that you guys haven't seen it before, but just to show you the power and how it shows up in the search results and why it's so important to structure your videos in a way that's going to help you get not just the visibility, but help you get that authority as well. And then here's video can generate leads for years versus a post that you may spend a lot of time on. There's posts I've spent a lot of time on them. And then, going back to Anne's comment about, the post dies, it's frustrating 24 hours to be like, oh, it's gone. That was it. So people come to YouTube looking for solutions. And this is why this is how YouTube and LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, the social media platforms work together. So if someone finds your content or sees something that you post on LinkedIn, for example, and they're like, hey, I really like what Carrie's talking about here. They're like, okay, so now they might be like, I really want to know more information. I don't know anybody who ever goes to Facebook or LinkedIn profiles and just scrolls content. I mean, if you guys do, please tell me. I would love to validate that in my head, but maybe it's because I don't do that. Like I would never go to somebody's profile. The only time I do is when someone sends me a connection request on, well, either one, Facebook or LinkedIn. And the only reason why I do that is because I don't want to connect to people who aren't active on the platform or they're only sharing other people's content. Like if they don't have an original thought, they're not creating their own content. Like that's not somebody I want to be connected to. So that's the only time I'll go to their profile is to do that. I'm trying to watch the time. Okay. So here are 3 core principles for that you need, like when you're considering YouTube as a lead conversion machine. The first one is the search power, right? So how YouTube turns you into the expert that your clients are actively searching for. They go to LinkedIn, they go to Facebook, they're like, oh, okay, hey, I see this information that Janet's talking about with TBI, and they really liked what Janet's saying. And they're like, you know what? I need to go find out more information because people aren't thinking staying on Facebook to find more information. People think of, let me go to Google, let me go to YouTube. The younger generations are saying, let me go to TikTok, right? Because that's where those are search engines. That's where I can go and find the information I'm looking for. It's also an evergreen lead magnet. So how your content works for you 24/7 without you having to be on that content hamster wheel. So when you're creating a video, and here's a beautiful thing. This is part of my 3-part system and how I help my clients create this like, never ending cycle of generating leads is that when you're creating a video to always have a lead magnet that you're sending someone to. 1, it builds your email list, but 2, you're taking them to that next level, to that next step that they want to go on. And the reason why they're watching your video to begin with and helping them along their buying journey. So you're keeping them in your world versus them just like leaving. And then the chances of them finding you again is going to be pretty slim. So while you have their attention, give them a reason to register for an event, to download your freebie, to access, a secret podcast episode or whatever that might be. Free things are definitely best to get them to that next level. But it also is about authority and trust building. So that's why YouTube builds instant credibility because it's making it easier for clients to buy from you. Again, they might go out there and say, hey, Carrie's doing this. Janet's doing this. I'm going to go out to YouTube. I want to learn more about them because if you're just doing posts that are all like text and images, 1, nothing but AI, both, right? They don't know. They don't know if you're creating that from scratch and from your voice and from your experience. AI is taking over in those regards. You're going to have a harder time competing against that type of content on both LinkedIn and Facebook, which is going to make it harder to stand out. Video, yes, you can. There's AIs out there now that can generate a duplicate of me, like right now. I can go out there, train it to do it. They don't sound as much like the person. They still sound robotic. But let's just say that they're at the point now where, they're doing the hand gestures like I am, the voice inflections, or wearing glasses, putting them on, taking them out. Let's just say it's a complete duplicate. It's still not me. It's still not authentic. It's still not genuine. It's still not, doesn't have everything that I have from my past, right? So there's always going to be an upper hand for you as the human showing up on video and being the person who's creating that authority, creating that transparency, giving all of the information that someone is looking for, and you're helping them build that know, like, and trust faster. Because like right now, like I'm having a conversation with you guys, you get to see me, you get to hear me, you get to see my hand gestures, you get to see like my eye contact. And those are things that you can't do in a text post. You can't. Even podcast episodes where you can hear people's voice. And this is one of the things that I don't know why somebody hasn't figured it out yet, but like, podcasts are just so siloed, right? There's no way to engage with people on podcast episodes, even if they have a web page, people aren't leaving comments there. So video's the place to go when you want to, build your authority and your trust. So here's why I wanted to show some examples. And I typed in some things first simply because I wanted to try and save some time. I'm making sure that you guys can see this. I always go to the drop-down menu on the Zoom thing to make sure that you guys can see what I'm saying. I've done that before where I switch screens and then it doesn't, it's still on like the original screen. Okay, so here's an example. And I didn't know what to type in. So I was just like, how do I get started on LinkedIn? Because I wanted to see what was actually going to pop up. And I was happy to see that, disregard this because I'm not real sure how to get rid of the AI stuff. So I'll just assume that's not there. It's probably not on most people. So it's good that LinkedIn came up first, right? Because, I asked how to get started with LinkedIn. So then you have another LinkedIn, Reddit, a couple more LinkedIn, but then here's your videos. When I did the search the first time, so it must have refreshed, the videos were actually underneath this first LinkedIn. They were actually right here. So something must have switched. But the point's still the same, is that videos are showing up in the Google search results. So as someone who's looking to see how I can get started with LinkedIn, now obviously you're going to have different users. There are going to be people who are going to want to go to LinkedIn as the authority, right? Because they're the ones who are going to know best. But you don't know if that information's been updated because a lot of times those platforms don't think of updating that information as often as they should. So you might want to look at different videos. This is an example. I kept this one up too because I thought it was really interesting. This video right here, she created it in January of 2024. But if you look at the title, it says 2025, and then she changed the thumbnail to 2025. Power. This is power. And the reason why I say that is she took a video that she created last year and she probably went through it and said, you know what, nothing's changed. Maybe there's like minor changes. It's good enough to keep up here for another year. And all she did was she went in and she changed the title date from 2024 to 2025. And then she changed the thumbnail to reflect 2025 instead of 2024. Now the algorithm's going to see that as engagement, that she's updated it, she's taken care of it. And now she's going to get like new life out of that video because now people who are searching for that, it's 2025, they're going to be interested in this. And because she took it to the next level where she added chapters, that's what these things are here. There's an option in the description where you can actually add your chapters so you can see that. It's an added bonus to you and the people who are searching for your information because all of this is searchable. All of this in the same video. And this has been really interesting for me recently because I was looking at, I can't remember. Oh, so I posted, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. It was like a short form video, vertical, where it started out like that scene from A Few Good Men, where it's Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise in the courtroom, where he's just like, you can't handle the truth. So I created that video, and like the second half of it was me being like, myself, it started out being that. But I couldn't figure out how to. Tomorrow, will you teach how to change thumbnail? I won't be doing that here, Janet, but it's something that is really simple to do. But you can do that like in the description of your video. You just scroll down where the thumbnail is, and then there's an option. You click on it, 3 dots, and it says change thumbnail, and then you can do it there. Yeah, it's super easy. But when I was doing that, I was searching for there's a part in that video where I'm sitting on the couch and it's me in the same frame. And I'm like, how do I do that? I knew I had to use the mask, but I was fooling around with it. I couldn't figure it out. So I did that. And so I searched, and what happened was video came up and it had highlighted in the video where he was talking about how to do that one specific thing. So he was talking about other things too. But what was really interesting is that he had the chapters here. And so when I clicked on it, it only took me to that section of the video where he had it marked for that particular thing. So the reason why I'm sharing that with you is that as you're creating your videos, think about how people might want to find information inside your video, and then add the chapters so that when people are looking for that, your video gets more visibility. It expands the reach, and it gets connected with more people instead of just on the title or the contents. Now you're getting real specific about the information that you include in your video. Okay. So I want to show that to you. And then I did another one. I know we're getting close on our hour. What was this one? How do I do a live? So I wanted to do a Facebook one as well. So how do I do a live stream on Facebook? So again, I typed in the words, but you can see here videos at the top. So you have the sponsored, and then you've got videos right here. So it's showing you the power of video on a Google search. Videos are being placed higher in the Google search now above a lot of the other content. So if you're using this one as an example, you're, teaching people all the different nuances of how to use Facebook. If you create your videos in this way, then you're going to see videos get pushed higher in the search results as well. And you can always find that information in your analytics to see how people are finding you on YouTube. So showing you the searches on Google, right? So I didn't pull up YouTube in particular because I wanted to show you how it works, just starting with Google, and where your videos are falling. Okay. So now I'm doing the exact same thing on LinkedIn. Okay. I did the search already. I can't see this because this thing's in the way. So it says it's hidden. I think it's the same thing. Yeah. I don't know how I move this thing. My window. Oh, there we go. Nope, it's still there. Please move this window away from I don't know. So whatever the search is here, how do I get started? Yeah, it's right there. How to get started on LinkedIn. So this is the search results that I got. Okay. So it's not giving me, now this one is because Nat does a lot of videos. So it's giving me the posts first. And that was posted 3 weeks ago. And then we've got one 1 week ago, 1 week ago, 1 day away. Okay. So you're starting to see that it's all different types of content, right? They're not videos, and it's all kinds of different time frames, like, long ago, different engagement types. Michelle, she does a great job with her content too. So obviously it's a different layout, but I don't know if they placed the videos first. That would be interesting to know because the first two are videos. So just a little bit different when you're searching for that same information on that particular platform, like what that experience is like, right? So obviously you can narrow it down in different ways too. Then if we go over to Facebook, I don't think I pressed enter on this one. How do I do a live stream on Facebook? I don't know why I didn't do it on that one. Oh, because mine was the first one that came up. That's why. I was just like, nobody wants to see that. They're going to think it was like, I planned it. I did not plan this. I don't know. I did do a video a long time ago. Obviously, this was in 2021 where I was doing first ever live stream. Okay. Anyway, I was talking about that. So I don't know why that came up first, maybe because it was mine. So let's just assume it wasn't. So here we're doing, a better job of looking at content that comes up from farther ago. But the reason why I'm showing this to you is just to look at the difference between how you can search for information on Google/YouTube, and then also how it looks when you're searching for that information on Facebook and LinkedIn. Now, if you're a Facebook user and you want to learn, you want to start spending some time on LinkedIn, if you did a search on Facebook for how do I start a LinkedIn, how do I start using LinkedIn, it's probably going to be a completely different experience than if you go out to, Google and YouTube, right? So it's going to be completely different. So I wanted to show that to you because I wanted to have you experience what that's like and see the difference of when you go out to Google, sorry, my tea, and go out to Google, I'm the one requesting that information, right? And on LinkedIn and Facebook, I'm requesting it, but the information I'm getting is not necessarily going to be the most applicable to what I'm looking for. In fact, I think that post from that wasn't even related to getting started with LinkedIn. Videos on Facebook will start coming down after 30 days come June. Yeah. Are they all videos, Janet? Or are they just the live streams? Because I did hear that the live streaming videos on YouTube are now, you did have the option to save them for a lifetime. Then there was one other option, and then there was one delete after 30 days. So I do know that they've switched that all of them are going to be deleted after 30 days now on Facebook. So, all right, let me go back here. I think there's just a couple more things that I wanted to show you guys. So here's the 4 essential videos that you need to build authority on YouTube. So one is your authority positioning video, where you establish your expertise and your credibility. Another one is a lead magnet promo video. So if you have an event or if you're just trying to get more people into your funnel or on your email list, that's going to help do that, your lead magnet promo. Frequently asked question conversion video. This is a great place for anybody to start if you're just getting started with your YouTube videos, because you all have questions that your ideal clients ask you, right? So, and you probably got them someplace stored, or you just know that they're so common that you could just, come up with them off the top of your head. You might have them on your website. So what I would say is, if you get this question, all the time, like one of the questions I used to get all the time is, what app should I use for editing my videos? And so then I would ask the questions. Are you looking for, Apple, Android, or, do you want free? Like, what is it that you desktop? Like, what are you looking for? And then I could help narrow it down. So that was a question that, I could spend time answering and say, here, if this is a question that you're looking forward to, I think I did one in a short video, how to do that. So that's a great place to start. And then also personal story is going to help build your authority as well, because that's going to actually build deeper connections with your audience. So other people who have, for me, the reason why I focus on, people over 40, I know there's guys and girls on here, but really people over 40, it's because they've got the experience, they've got the stories, they've got the struggles, they've had a lot of life experiences that I can relate to, and I can help them tap into those experiences and turn it into a video that's going to work for them and work for their business. So for me, that's the reason why I do that. And people are like, why do you only focus on people over 40? That's why. It shouldn't matter, but that's the reason why. So which one of these videos, whether it's on YouTube or even on LinkedIn or Facebook, do you guys have? Let me know in the chat. Do you have number 1, an authority positioning video? Do you have a lead magnet promo video, an FAQ conversion video, or a personal story video? If you've got all of them, then I would love to know that as well. And then on the next slide, I'm going to show you how that ties back to this. Great. Pulling up the chat. Nada. Good. This is a great place for you to start, Anne. It's a list that you can look at and say, here's where I'm going to start. None of the above. Awesome. Okay. It's the same thing, John. Carrie, nada. I know Janet's starting to build some of hers. So this is just, feel free to take a screenshot of this. I have videos that share information. Yeah. And Janet, that'll be good for you to look at as well, to see like what type of videos that you have, to make sure that you have a variety of videos, because you're going to want to not just share information, but you're going to want to start building your authority as well. And there's different ways to do that. So then we're going to look at, oh, that's day 2. Yeah, I'm going to talk about day 2 first, then go to the next one. So your YouTube lead machine, this we're going to talk about tomorrow, is how to turn views into clients. This is where we're going to get into like the really exciting part, because I'm going to share with you the 3-part YouTube lead system. I'm going to walk you through that. Then I'm going to give you the ultimate CTA formula. Part of it's in that video. If you guys purchased the VIP upgrade, you'll see that in there. I don't spell it out exactly, but that's it's the essence of the training. Then we're going to talk about your first YouTube lead system in action. So I'll be giving you something that you can take action on. Okay. If you want live hot seat coaching, I'd be more than happy to do that. So if you've got a LinkedIn or a Facebook post that you're like, I really think that this has potential to turn it into a YouTube video, or if you're like, I have no clue, then I can pull it up on my end, your profile, and we can go through your content. I'll spend about 5 minutes. I'm not going to do a deep dive, but I do want to help you see the potential in the content that you're already creating and how you can tap into that to create YouTube videos. And then when you're talking about and creating your content for Facebook or LinkedIn, you then can start thinking through, okay, when I'm creating this content, what information can I create or direct people to from this post onto YouTube that's going to give them more in-depth information? It's going to help them take that next step in their journey, right? Then I'm going to share. So in the in the promo, I talked about, the lead conversion playbook. You do need to be live for that. And it's not something I'm going to share with everybody. So you do need to be live to receive that. So I will share that with you guys tomorrow. And then because I love giving stuff away, I'm going to have a surprise gift for you guys. Yay. Nothing that has to do with working for me, just something I just want to give you guys because I like giving stuff away. I like to help however I can. Let's just put it that way. Okay, last thing. Here's your homework, your fun work. This is taking what we talked about today to the next level. Okay, so I want you to look at your LinkedIn, your Facebook content, and I want you to look at it and say, what is one post? And again, if you want to be on the hot seat, meaning I'll bring you on here, and these videos are going to be made available to people after this too. So just know that. So if you do want hot seat coaching, I still want you to identify like which one of these types you think would be a high engagement type post that's going to help you convert some of this content into a client. Okay. So a listicle type of post is, I've got this pulled up because I wanted to give you an example. On mine is something like this, where I've listed things here. So you've got 1, 2, 3 things. You've got like one of my videos was here's 15 tips to build on camera confidence. Those types of content pieces are really good to create videos, and it's going to help people watch your video longer because they're sequential, or there's just a lot of information there that's going to hold people's attention longer. Oh, thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love helping. So if I can, I will. I love it. So this is like what I'm talking about with a listicle type approach or post. Okay, so I just wanted to show you an example of that. A transformational post would be like a before and after. So you can talk about your before and after experience. Then we can take a look at that post and see how you can convert that into a video. And again, those types of posts are really good, even if it's your own story, because that's going to help people relate better to you, right? That shows the human side of who we are that you just can't get in a text post. Again, because AI could have written it. Who knows? A why work with me post, give an example of like what people might expect coming into your world and how you might help them transform based on where they're at and where they want to go. An educational post, teach your community something. This is something I do all the time. I love doing educational. If they'd paid teachers more, that's probably the direction I would have gone back in the day. But I'm like, they pay teachers what? I don't want any part of that. So I just enjoy teaching. So if you do have educational posts, that's something that you can start with as well. And then anything that you can do to help them take that one next step, right? So videos don't have to be like really long and talk about like, can you imagine if I had like one video that talked about everything that you need to know about YouTube? That would be overwhelming and it would be crazy. Like, I don't even know how I'd create that. So think of like just one thing that you can create a video about that's going to help your ideal client take that next step. And of course, they're all going to be in different steps, which is the beauty of video, because now you have all these different steps that you can create videos for that's going to help people regardless of where they're at, right? So what I want you to do is just pick one post that you already have created. You don't need to create anything. But what I want you to do is give it a title that you think might work on YouTube. And how you can do that is, why I have YouTube pulled up right here, is just pull up YouTube. And it doesn't matter if your title's right or wrong, or it's going to work or it's not going to work. All you need to do is just pull up YouTube and then go into the search bar. And let's just say, if we use the LinkedIn post, for example, we can say how to start using LinkedIn. Okay. And then just hit enter. And then so those videos that, Ed Lawrence is one too, where he gets a lot of, I see his video right there. He posted it 3 hours ago and he's already got 2,200, usually gets close to 50 or 60,000 people. So when you type that in, just hit enter. And now you can start to see those are shorts. they've moved the shorts feed up higher. I don't know if you guys have noticed that recently, but they've moved it up to get more exposure for them. And then go down here. Here's that lady again, the new 2025 tutorial. And I teach people this as well, is if you're like, okay, how do I know if this title is going to work? Here's a great way to do this. Now, you guys may not see this here, but if you, not download, but if you use the vidIQ, you can see it right there, powered by vidIQ. If you go to the Chrome store and use the vidIQ extension, you'll be able to see these numbers so that you don't have to click in every single one of these. The reason why I'm sharing that with you, and this is like a huge like time saver, is that let's just say, you know, here's how to get started on LinkedIn in 2025. Okay. So that's what that was the title I typed in there. It looks like it's going to work. How I know this title is working or not working well is looking at the number of views for that video. So in this case, there's 102,000 views compared to the number of subscribers that they have on YouTube. If the number of views is higher than the number of subscribers, that video is good. That's a title that you want to consider. Okay. Now, in this case, she doesn't have more views than she does subscribers. So I'm going to keep scrolling. I do typically to go into, I do the filters and I only look at videos within the last 12 months. So because things change so much over time, like you don't want to look at a video that was from like 7 years ago, right? That one's sponsored. How to use LinkedIn for beginners. Okay, so here's a good one, right? Very similar title, right? But she's got, this was 7 years ago. I didn't even see that yet. So I must have just, you know, put that out there. But let's say it was a year ago. She's got 1 million views and she's got 265,000 subscribers. That would be one I'd be like, all right, that's a good one to use. Okay, so that's how you can identify. Okay, here's one. If I started on LinkedIn from zero, here's what I do. I see those types of titles all the time and they always do well. Then you also look at the thumbnail, right? So those two combined work really well together. And you can see that it worked well for him because he has 84,000 views and he only has 15,000 subscribers. So that's how you can tell if it's a good title or not. Okay. All right. That was everything I wanted to cover. This had so many great things to look at and help be a better marketer. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Awesome. Thanks, Janet. So that's what you guys need to do. So title, search for that title on Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whichever one you want. Then this is going to be turned into one of those 4 videos that's going to help you build authority. Okay. So I want you to start thinking about, I have this title based on this. Here's a title I'm thinking about. And then what type of video would that become? You don't have to create it or anything. I'm just getting you used to thinking through the steps and thinking through the process. Okay. That's it for today. What questions do you guys have before I let you go? Great. First, glad I was able to make it. Yes. Thank you so much, John. I'm so glad that you were able to make it too. It was good seeing you here. Thank you so much. If I do my fun work now, thank you so much. Awesome. Good. I'd love to hear about that, Anne. Good job. Thank you. You're welcome, Carrie. Thank you so much for being here live too. Hopefully you guys can join me again tomorrow. I know that Janet got some things moved around too so that she can join live tomorrow. Yes, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. And once this is available for replay, then I will send an email out so that you guys have access to it as well. All right. Thank you so much for being here and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get the live prize tomorrow. Be here live, Carrie. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. See ya. Bye.